Welcome back to the channel. On today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to make this dress. To grow the channel, please like, subscribe and share. Also click on our notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new tutorial. So let's get down to today's tutorial. I have my fabric here on fold. I'm going to be cutting this piece here on fold. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pin this down so I can easily work on it. So now I will just take my straight ruler and then make a line here like this. So I'm just going to make a straight line here. This is where I'm going to start taking my measurements from. But it's going to be a little bit different here on the tape measure because as you can see, I'm starting my measurements from 6 inches. From 6 inches, I'm going to go down to my bust point like this. So from the 6 inches, I'm going down to the 8 inches. And the reason why I'm starting on 6 inches is because this dress has a strap here on the shoulder. So I'm just going to only start from 6 inches, which is will be my chest line, then down to my bust point. So I will come here on my bust line, which is my bust point. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my bust measurements, divide by 4, which is 9 inches. Then I will add extra inch for the sewing allowance like this. Once I'm done with that, I will come here on the chest line. So on the chest line, I will take my shoulder to shoulder measurements, which is 7 inches. And then on that 7 inches, I'm just going to go in by 6 inches. So watch what I'm doing here. So my shoulder to shoulder is 7, and then I'm just going to go in by 1 inch. Hence why I'm marking 6 inches here. And I will take my curve ruler so I can join the points here together like so. Then I'll just come here on the bust line. I'll just mark half an inch for the sewing allowance, and I'll also just mark half an inch here on the sides. So this is where I'm going to cut. And I'll be using this half an inch on above here as also my sewing line. So this is also going to be my seam allowance. So once I'm done with that, I'm just going to cut out. Just check where I am cutting. So I'm going to cut 2 of this. So one is going to be the outer part and the other one will be the lining. And on the lining piece, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a gum stay or violin like this. So I'm just going to iron this part here and I'm going to stick it. So when I'm ironing this, it's going to stick. Once I'm done, I'm just going to show you the 2 pieces I was talking about. So as you can see here on this other part here, I folded half an inch inside for the sewing allowance, and I did the same on the other part. So you can see the other one is going to be the lining and the other one is going to be the outer part of the fabric. Moving on to the straps. So this is the fabric piece that I'm going to use to cut out the straps, which I measured 2.5 inches. So I'm just going to fold this piece here like this and make a stitch. After making a stitch right side facing, then I will turn this inside out. This is what I have, and I made 2 of this because this is for my straps. Now I'm going to take my front piece and the lining piece here. This is what I have, and I'm just going to be sandwiching the straps. So I will come here and go in by 1 inch, sorry, and I will take my straps here and then I will just put them here like this. This is exactly what I'm going to, and I will just pin this, and I will also place the second one. Then I'll just make a stitch here on the top part here. Once I'm done, this is what I have. I've made a stitch, so I'm just going to open this so you can see. Now just check here on the lining piece, which is this other part, which is this part here. I'm going to open my seam here like this, and then I'll just make a stitch, a top stitch here. This way I'm just making sure that the seam allowance lays flat. You see? This is what I'm going to do, and then I'll just make a top stitch. And this is it. I've made a top stitch, so the top stitch is going to only be visible on the inner side of the dress, or where the lining is. And to continue now, I'm going to measure the full length of the dress. So I'm going to take my measurements here from the bust line here, which is 8 inches. So what I'm going to do is from 8 inches, I'm going to measure the full length. So mine, the full length is 30 inches, but then I added 3 inches for the hemming allowance. So I'm just going to fold it in. Now I'll just be doing a paper illustration so you don't get confused. So imagine this one is the front and this one is the back piece. This is the top part of the dress. So the length that I have here on the bottom is 20 inches. So when I cut on my fabric, I'm going to take 20 inches, multiply it by 3. So this part here will be 60 inches. And I will do the gathers and bring it back to the 20 inches. So to be clear, the 20 inches by 3, and the 3, it depends on how full you want your gathers to be. So here on the length, I just marked 33 inches. So this part is the length and the other part is the gathering part. Same as the back piece here. This part here, because I'm going to insert an elastic, what I'm going to do, which I think will be easy for all of us, it's on the back piece, don't measure 33 inches. What you can do is measure about 38 inches for the back, because it will also include the folding part of making the elastic casing, so you can be able to pass in your elastic. Well, now let me just show you what I have before doing the gathers. So what I have here is the 60 inches I was talking about, where I'm going to make the gathers and bring it back to 20 inches so it can fit in on the top part of this dress. So this is what I have. I've inserted the gathers. I'll open up this part here. As you can see, I have the lining and the outer side of the dress. So what I'm going to do is on the outer side of the dress, which is this point here, this side here, I'm going to turn it over like this so you can see how I'm placing it. So I'm just going to use the half inch for the swing allowance to attach everything together. So you have to open up the half an inch for the swing allowance so you can attach the gathering part on it. So this is what I have. Now I'm going to take this and then just turn it over here like this so I can show you what I have. So this is how it looks. Okay, this is how it looks. Now I'm going to take this and then turn it over here like this, right side facing each other. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to join the armhole part. So I'm going to make a stitch here, and just make sure that you open your sewing allowance like what I'm doing here so you don't sew it in. So from there, I'm just going to make a stitch to close in the armhole, and this is what I have. This is exactly what you should have on your side. From there, since I'm done, I will just turn this over, and as you can see, I'm just going to fold in here so I can insert the gathers inside the top part of this dress. This way I'm closing in. So if you want to insert lining for this dress here on the bottom part, the lining, what you can do is whatever that we are doing on the gathers, you can do the same. Now I will just make a stitch here to secure everything together, and I'm just going to explain to you how I'm going to make the stitch. So as you can see, I've turned this the inside out, so I'm just going to make sure that I use the guideline I have here to just make a clean stitch. And this is what I have. I've attached everything together. Now I'll just be working on the back piece. So I'm just going to take my back piece and show you how to do this part. And also bring my elastic. So here I'm going to take the front piece and then I just measure the 20 inches. So on that 20 inches, what I'm going to do is I'm going to strap that 17 inches. And here on my elastic, I'm going to cut 17 inches. So this is the elastic that I'm going to be using. So now I'm just going to fold in here like this and then just make a stitch so I can pass through my elastic. Now this is it. Now I'll just take my elastic and insert it here on the elastic casing. When I'm doing this, I'll be creating gathers, so be careful that your elastic pass through nicely and it does not twist or anything. Just make sure that you're inserting it nicely and properly. And I'll just finish off this off camera and then I'll show you once I'm done. So this is it. This is what I have. I've inserted everything here together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to work on the pockets. Here for the pockets, I have my pieces together. I'm just going to cut out about four pieces of the pockets, which is going to be on the front side and the back side. So I need 4 of those. Now I'm just cutting out my pockets, and if you can check, I didn't even really measure the pocket part, but this is what I'm doing. And then I'll just open up this side so I can have my 4 pieces. Now I will just take my front piece and my back piece. So I'm starting here on the back piece. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure where I want to put my pockets. Initially I started with 14 inches, but I was like, let me just do 13 inches, and I measured there. So on the, as you can see, I'm just changing it. I'm just going up by 1 inch. And I'm just going to place my pockets right side facing each other like this, and I'll just make a stitch. I'm going to do the same on this other side. I'm just going to mark the 13 inches and I will place my pocket here like this. So I'm just going to do the very same thing on the front piece and also on the back piece. Now that I'm done with the back piece, I'll just take the front piece and then I'll just show you where to measure from. From the armhole here measurement, I'm going to go down here also by 13 inches, and I will place my pocket right side facing each other, and I'll also do it on the other side. And I will just make a stitch to secure the pockets together. And this is what I have. And when you sew in the pockets, just make sure that you also top stitch so your pockets can be nicely placed. Now I will just take the side parts here like this, and I will just join the sides together. And when I'm joining this side together, I'm just going to also make sure that the pockets are well aligned. So I'm just going to make a stitch to join the pockets, the both sides together like so. And I will also do on this other side. Well, this is it, and this is what I have. Now I will just come here on the back piece where I'm going to attach my straps. So here on the back piece, this is what I'm going to do. I will just take my tape measure and measure what I have here. I'll just measure half of this, and it is 8 inches. So here on the 8 inches, I'm going to mark a point. I want to make a point, and this is the middle point, and I will just go out by 4 inches here like this, and I'll also do the same on the other side. I'm just gonna go out by 4 inches. The points that I made there are the ones that I'm going to use to attach the strap. Then I will take one straps here. Remember, I measured 6 inches when I was taking the measurements. I started from 6 inches. So from that 6 inches, I'm going to add 6 inches. So the 6 inches meaning that my strap will be 12 inches long, and then I'll just attach it here like so, and then I'll just make a stitch. On the strap part, if you want your bag to show, you can also make your straps at least maybe 15 inches long before attaching them. So the next thing for me, what's left to do is to just hem the bottom part of this dress, and I'll be done. But in my case, I only use an overlocker, so I think I'm going to leave it like this either way. And then that's it for today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching.